test. Right. Very good morning, all of you, both online and offline. So, with a short break, we're back again. So, though with the very latest, when the issue, the new program of the government, something related to the employment, right? And the central government promised, okay, lakhs of jobs, but at the same time, the one specific program got the attention of the entire the country as well as India, and the protests are on. So, what is the program? What do you know about it? Okay, right. So, the other day when you say this, all the protests. So, initially they put this 21 years, now they made it to 20. They even at day one, you will find changes. Let us see what is going to be happen in the course of time. But the defense minister clearly announced it's only one time waiver. It should be of 21. So, this program, what we called it? What for? The main purpose when the program, let us strictly confine to the exam and let us not get into any other controversy. Let us finish it off hardly 4 or 5 minutes. Okay. The purpose is essential for us. Stated purpose is very clear. Integration into society. So, whom are integrating into society? The youth, the younger generation. In a smooth way, they wanted to integrate into society. That's what the government stated the purpose of this program. Here, because you have the mains as well more than the prelims, the questions may be relating to certain things. The backup you have to keep in mind is when you say education, what actually the education stands for. Wonderfully, okay, different definitions you have, and as it is confined to the defense forces, General Karyappa. Have you heard his name ever? Who? General Karyappa. Of course, Field Marshal Karyappa. First Field Marshal or second Field Marshal? He is the second Field Marshal. First is Manekshaw, was the first Field Marshal. He is the second Field Marshal. But he is the first general of independent India. Okay, for independent India, he is the first general. Of course. Okay. So simple 2 points you have to keep in mind is the first general vis-a-vis independent India is concerned, right? 1947 when the British transferred the power. Yes. Then when the upgradation happened, the Field Marshal, initially the Maneksha, then later the Karyappa got the honor. So Karyappa, the second field marshal, not the first. CARIPPA, Karyappa. Wonderfully defined, education stands for mental alertness, physical fitness, and moral correctness. He simply used these few words. Okay, let me put it here itself. So, mental alertness, moral correctness, and physical fitness. So, once these three get satisfied, then only education is fulfilled. Because education is a process wherein you will fulfill your holistic life and you can earn your livelihood. That is the main purpose. Alertness. Okay, of course, acquiring knowledge, the rational thinking, all the things will come into form and adherent to certain ethical parts. Okay. Then physical fitness. What it implies? Everything, right? From the without what you call physical fit, or we can say without healthy mind, healthy body, both the things you cannot perform. Both the thing is required. Even the fever, something happened, right? How much will suffer? So here it's very clear that the things stands for. So from the beginning they stressed on this, and with that intention we have the so-called NCC. If you use the word National Cadet Corps, so from the schooling itself, right? The physical fitness, and in the course of time it's up to them, whatever the way they wish. But for whatever be the reason, those things get diluted, except government schools and colleges, and few the old colleges you don't find NCC as such. Hardly we are giving priority to the physical, and in this era, entirely different. So perhaps keep those in mind. Government thought about it. Let this younger generation, who are finished their 10th class, instead of getting into regular academics, let they enter into directly the military service. It's some sort of, when you use the word integration, some sort of a long-term coaching, if you use the word, okay, for your MSET, IIT, CLAT, and all those things, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years courses, it's a similar part of it, giving a shape to this. And there are the few countries, and most of the European countries in America, the 2 years military service mandatory. Even now, the Ukraine war is on, right? You find it's a mandatory for them. Okay, then only you will inducted into the society. It's up to you to join or not to join into the army later after the 2 years of service is concerned. The similar path in India in a different mode and a different name, we got it. As is the first time, there are innumerable apprehensions. Okay, and hitherto we have the concept of so-called, because the government implies it has to provide the jobs and it has to provide the security, and after the end of the job we should get the pensions, right? All these concepts are we have. As the scheme does not contain these issues hitherto, so there is a protest. Okay, so hope you'll understand shortly. So no doubt there's a package is there while studying itself. Certification, diplomas, higher education credits are there. That itself shows that it's not a job. Okay, it's not a job, but a job like a scenario. An option was given when after 4 years, right? So to quickly made it, the initial idea is 17 and a half years. So most of the students will finish their intermediate by the time it is concerned. And some northern states, Bihar, they'll finish only their 10th class or hardly they into the 11th. So then 21 years. Generally, we'll finish our degree by the 21 years. Now, this 23 is a one-time waiver, not all the time. Only this year, because last 2 years we have the pandemic and no recruitment happened, and because of protest they made it as a one-time waiver. So that point you have to make it very clearly. So the duration is this, you are aware of it very much, and from the day one you are giving the salary. Then the problem actually arises. Some suggested Mr. Word, if you have used the word stipend, right, like the polytechnic students, ITA students, right, they used to get when they are doing some internships. Okay, then this would not be there. The moment they use the word salary, then the issues cropped up. So words that matters. So starting with 4.7 up to 6.92 by the time they will release. Then after that, there is a package. Once you there's an option to be or not to be into the service. Like some countries, just now I said most of the countries are 2 years in European countries, not the 4 years. So first time in India, we are going ahead with this 4 years concept. So that itself is become the problem perhaps. So now, when the 4 years over, you will get the package. A fixed amount is up to you if you want to continue the service. But the government will take only 25% of the whatever they recruited. Right now, they are planning for twice a year. Let us see this in the course of time how it is going to take the shape. And 25% inducted into the main armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, according to their caliber. Remaining was given option to enter into other services like the paramilitary services, BSF, CISF, like this. There the possibility is there. And still, if not done, there is a financial packages. Even if you want to start your own, the loan facilities, like this, the government want to take 10 after that. So these persons, whoever in this Agnipath, they called as the Agniveers, a separate designation. Hitherto, once you entered the army, it's a Sipai. You are considered. So no more word of Sipai. No. Okay. A new word they assign. And it's all non-officer cadre, not officer cadre. For example, if you finish your NDA, National Defense Service, or CDS, Combined Defense Service Examination, especially after graduation, right, is an officer cadre. But it is nothing to do with the officer cadre. It's completely non-officer cadre, and opportunities was given to everybody. There is no specific class, caste, region, regiment, etc. Hitherto, in a regimental basis, the recruitment used to happen. For example, Jat regiment. So those will be preferred. Okay, Nepali regiments, they will be preferred. So there is some sort of a class and caste criteria hitherto. Now that was not taken into consideration. Plus, what about women? Does the women have any entry into that? లేకపోతే ఎట్లా ఊరుకుంటారా? Women too can. There is no bar on this. They are eligible as the men are. And of course, they have to satisfy the physical as well as the medical norms. The minor relaxation they made it. Okay, it's for them because now that entry for Army, Air Force, Navy is there, and they are added to this women as well. So after this 4 years, because this is a major issue, whatever the government projected, I'm just saying part is concerned, they'll get the package of 12 lakhs. Right? Then they can be an entrepreneur, a scheme will be there so that they will provide the bank loans as well if they wish. Even they wish to study further, if they finish only 10th class, a 12th class certificate and plus some bridge course certificates also they will got. So it is nothing but internship, strictly speaking. Okay. And those who wish to work given priority in CA, that is Central Armed Forces, whatever be the paramilitary forces related, Assam Rifles, police and other forces. So in this 4 years, what they wish to do is, apart from general training, they will, the present requirements is what? Technical, isn't it? The skill is the basis rather than just. So perhaps in the core term, then the strength of the army may be at its low, maybe illiterate or just a minimum literate person, but he should be, one skill should be there in one form or the another. And latest skills depend upon the, mainly what you call the technical skills to require. So they want to impart those technical skills, upgrade whatever the skills it is concerned, in tune with the present changing norms. Present warfare scenario is entirely different. How Ukraine is facing Russia. Simple reason is that. So they wanted to put those things into. So the just quickly you have to keep in mind, and few merits when you say this from the government side. Now no more pension. So it's not a burden for the government. Okay? It's not a burden for the government, isn't it? And most of the government jobs right now they are doing away with pensions. So whatever it is after this so-called privatization, globalization, government jobs coming down, civil services, right? So upon a time, just 2014, you said around 1600, 600. So they want to do away with this, and there's a constant supply. This is very important supply of the young into the civil society, because these are trained, well trained now. So the skill set is there. Finding job is very easy for them once they're trained properly, that they thought about it, or into the military they may enter into. That's what we call now they are the tech savvy rather than a just general academic. Okay. So once this 4 years, definitely whoever now know ex-service persons, for example, definitely they will be inducted into one job or the another. Similar case, they may be preferred in any either private or the government side. That's what they are saying about. Any other benefits? Few more for individuals. Okay. Apart from the thing is concerned, the good financial package is there from the beginning. Okay. As the internship is concerned. But main concern is that, is it not lead to militarization? In a democracy, how far it is advisable? Once they're trained with weapon, addicted to the weapons, and the army is the person where they will use the weapons, okay, authorized to use the weapons against the people wherever required, any protest or anything is concerned. And the main difference with the police and the army, for example, the firing happened. Police fire warning to the top or a cross firing. After these two fails, then only they will fight to the down, that is the leg target, not the body. Even if that failed, then may happen anything. At least the process is there regarding police. But army, nothing to do with this. They will target it. The moment these people are emotional in the way, and that to the younger generation, how to control it. And the other day that's happened, even clearly see this. So they're the people who train themselves voluntarily to enter into armed forces. Once the something happened, that emotional intelligence, right? Generally we call it, we may say simply they lost it, okay, balanced it, and led to the violent incidents. Because the mob mind is entirely different. And this is the greatest concern for the entire part of this package itself, the very general concern. And apart from this, there is a possibility of diluting professionalism. Okay. And how far fighting because 4 years they may or may not be inducted into the army. Then what is the confidential levels? Is a bigger question mark. And this word they call tourist soldiering. How far it is. When soldier supposed to be there forever. Okay. So that his mind and body be there. His heart and mind feel for it. But otherwise, if he's just a tourist soldier, a bigger question mark his contribution to the country in general. Okay, loving the motherland, sacrificing come what may. Question may arise in 4 years, why should I? Okay, so the issues are there. So let us see how far they are going to deliver this one. But a practical problem is that right now, to inducted to the main armed forces, 8 years service is required. If that be the case, it's only 4 years. That means the possibility that they may not get a chance at all, except if that get amended. So far that is not done. So if every positive impact assessed, but the question mark of negative as well. So there are a few things which you can keep in mind. And main thing is this so-called ex-service persons. Either to have some special benefits, canteen benefits and everything. That word is not there for them. There's a major apprehension. No pension, no ex-serviceman benefits. If these two are not there, what for into the army? A simple question they are making. Okay? Because hitherto they are enjoying all the facilities. Now they are not able to do that. So there are the few things. Any ups and downs or voltage issue. Okay. So the no problem. So few things you have to keep in mind. Any doubts? Done. Back to the next routine regular topics. So regarding this Agnipath and Agniveer, only one thing you have to keep in mind is this is the government program and 4 or 5 questions if at all appeared in the examination. Okay, whatever be the emotional issue, keep the side. Then electing this next president of India. Okay, when the thing is concerned, now the presidential elections are on the way. When the term is going to be over, who is the present president of India? Who is the first president of India? First president of India. Rajendra Prasad. When the first president of India assumed office? When first president of India assumed office? The Constitution of India. This question once appeared in civil studies long back. I think 10, 12 years back. Same thing. January 26, 1950. Ours is the Republican Constitution. Republic. What do you mean by republic? Having an election. Okay. So India became republic from only January 26, 1950. Though we got independence way back 15th August 1947. That means between 15th August 1947 and January 26, 1950, India is not a republic. If not republic, what it is India? It's a dominion. Okay. Generally, the term uses dominion, dominion status. And who the head of the state at that time? For the designation of head of the state, like now President, Governor General. Okay. Who is the first Governor General of independent India? Mountbatten. Mountbatten was the first Governor General of independent India. What about Rajagopalachari? Is the second Governor General, or you may use the word is the first Governor General of independent India is wrong. He is the first Indian Governor General of independent India. If you use that word, then that become right. Rajagopalachari, first Indian become the Governor General of independent India, as Mountbatten is not an Indian. So we have only two Governor Generals. This question also, number of all the groups it appeared, and here too. So republic, electing the head of the state, where a Governor General are not elected, appointed. Okay. Then we have the opposite category of hereditary. Hereditary is like monarchy. King died, his son or the daughter will take over, is a hereditary. Okay. Now we have done away with this, and our first president assumed office on the day. And what the term of president? 5 years. And Rajendra Prasad was 2 times. Okay, 5 plus 5, 10. So, but the second day presidential election happened only when 1960. Okay, or 62. As the president of India for 12 years. Okay. Anyway, back to this. How the president of India is elected? So that word you have to keep in mind very much. Elected. Okay. Members of the parliament and elected members of the state legislative assembly. This word elected is very important. That implies the nominated members will not participate. How many members are there nominated in the Lok Sabha? Now none. Right? Previously, we have two. Who are those two? Anglo-Indians used to be there. Now there's a demand for Anglo-Indian that again it has to be done with. So we have to wait and see whether government will do it or not. So it has done away with. Then Rajya Sabha, how many? Well, they are now Anglo-Indians. They are not Anglo-Indians. Who are they? They belong to certain specialized fields. Which fields? Any field. Has the constitution specified any field regarding Rajya Sabha? I mean, nominated member criteria is there. Uksa check chain criteria is there, and it appear in the examinations as well. Okay, like social service, yeah, sports. Try to recollect, because though it's a minor, very important issue. So they will not participate. Okay, so that means elections. So when in India the first elections happened, 51 ending. So 52 the parliament constituted. Right? Now we said elected members of the parliament they will elect. President Rajendra Prasad became the president in 1950 itself. Parliament was constituted in 52. Then how is it possible? Without parliament, how you get elected? How India called as a republic? Basic question, right? The thing is the Constituent Assembly itself. Okay, Constituent Assembly became the provisional parliament. From till the new parliament constituted, Constituent Assembly became the provisional parliament, and Constituent Assembly only as a provisional parliament, not as a Constituent Assembly, elected him as the president. So he continued. Then because of that, and later on the parliament, as per the new constitution of India, constituted, then again he get re-elected. Again, 5 years, another term. How many terms, as per the constitution, president can be recontest and recontest? So for only 2, I think, or only 1, Rajendra Prasad. Okay. Then Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan. After that, everyone got only 1 chance. Rarely they got the second chance. How many times they can re-elect? Any constitutional prohibition that they should not get? Because so Indian constitution is silent on this part. Okay, that means as per the constitution, a person can contest any number of times. But as per the convention, which is established by Rajendra Prasad himself, it should not be more than twice. Though he was asked to continue that term, but he said no. So let us have the convention. The same thing used to be in America till the Second World War ends anyway. So Roosevelt made it twice. Then at that time they made it law. No person will contest more than twice. Okay. So because of that, now only 2 terms they are in. But in India we don't have any condition even today. Okay. But because of various political reasons, only 1 time. Right now most of them getting the chance. Any person of from United Andhra, from Telangana become the president of India? Neelam Sanjeev Reddy. Any person from Telangana? P.V. Narasimha Rao, the prime minister, right? Not the president. So he's the only one. And the specialty is what? He was unanimously elected. Okay. There is another, the bit too you have to keep in mind. So this president, when you say election, this elected MPs, MLAs, we call that the word electoral college. So this is the word you have to keep in mind. He is elected by electoral college consisting of elected MPs and MLAs. Okay. And you and me have 1 vote per head. Our value of the vote is only 1. But when it comes to the president of India, election process is different, vote value is different, isn't it? Because it's based on 2 things. One is proportional representation, single transferable vote system. Okay. So when you single transferable, for the case, if there are, for example, 5 candidates, so you have as many votes as the candidates are. Preference you are giving. Okay. So this is what they call as a preferential voting. You are giving this priority 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. When the proportion, your vote value is depend upon the population. Okay. Because state wise population is different from one state to another. Entire country is the same. So MLA vote is decided by the population of the state. What is the, what you call the formula of deciding MLA vote? Total population of the state by number of MLAs, again divided by 1000. Good. That will be the criteria. And overall MPs, total value of the votes of all the MLAs divided by number of MPs. That means every MP, whether the small state or big state, value is the same. But whereas an MLA vote value differ from state to state. So that point you have to keep in mind. Then another one, when is elected MLAs, another question, a crucial part you have to keep in mind is MLA generally you will find only in states. Okay, not in union territories, except Delhi and Puducherry right now. Of course, Kashmir may get shortly, but it will take time in this. Now, will this MLAs of union territories of Delhi and Puducherry will participate or will not participate? they will participate. So here, for sake of this, they use when the state includes, okay, when the amendment was made, the state assemblies, when you use the word state includes Delhi and Puducherry. Okay, that's how the amendment was made. So accordingly, they too can participate in the things. Then, so anyhow, July 24th is going to be over. So election has to be done before. So it is just for information, nothing to do in a way. So total value of the votes when you discount it, it comes around 10 lakhs 86,431. But MP's value, MLA's values differs from state to state. Okay. And who will conduct the elections of president? Election commission only conduct the election of the president. And once elections announced and process is everything is that if you wish to contest, your name has to be supported and seconded by how many? 50. Once upon time 21. Okay. Now it is 50 members has to be proposed, another 50 has to be supported. So to avoid non-serious candidate, this step they made. Okay. So then if any election dispute arises later, it will be solved by election commission or the court. Only Supreme Court had the original jurisdiction relating to election disputes of the President of India. Okay. So there are a few points which you have to keep in mind. So any other doubts? Of course, not getting to the too much it is concerned. Just now when you say this Anglo-Indian concept, there is an appeal recently. It is why the government has done away with that. When it was done, from when Anglo-Indians are not having nomination criteria, which amendment made that? By which amendment the nominated criteria for Anglo-Indian is done away with? Nothing. No amendment, nothing. No order, nothing. It just disappeared. Okay? Pushka ki antam kada. It's something like it just disappeared. How? How? Remember, in India, reservations are there. This or not anything. They are for 10 years. After 10 years, what we are doing? Extending, extending, extending. If you don't want to extend, there end the matter. It will disappear. No need to specifically delete it. No need to specific effort to be made to done away. Okay, if you are not extended, there end the matter. Same thing in 2020. Okay, pandemic is this. Then the government did it. They are not extended. Now still there is a demand that it need to be done away. The government says, okay, we will concern this all the protest they are making. And who is an Anglo-Indian? Whom we call? As now the protests are there and hectic lobbying is going on, and it looks like government may consider whom we call Anglo-Indian, the person of European origin, because we have the people, right? Starting from Vasco da Gama. Which country Vasco da Gama belongs? Portuguese. So when he discovered sea route to India, oh, good. So history good enough. 1498. Where he landed first? Calicut, right? Good. So, and the Portuguese latter, after Portuguese, Dutch, then English, then French, right? Generally, they are the four we call it. Britishers only 1600 they were authorized. Then in the course of time, that's all. So in the course of time, these people settled down in India, having marital relation here, and the few generation, present generation, they don't know about their countries at all. Okay. So month after the Britishers left, or the French people they left, Most of them here. So to take care, to address them, you have the concept. And long back again, civil services, one question came. When this word Anglo-Indian was inserted in India, okay, or the concept arise, is it by, I mean, the choice is that Independent Indian Constitution, 1935 Act, 1919 Act, 1909 Act. These are the four choices they give. No, none of them. Okay, Independent India Act and Constitution. That is, I think 1950 they use this. I'm doubtful it is. Then 1935 Government of India Act, 1919 Government of India Act, right? Montague-Chelmsford reforms we call. 1909, what we call Minto-Morley reforms, right? So out of these four, when which act or the things use this word Anglo-India? Is it only independent India or before? And it is 1935 Act. They use this word. Okay, 1935 Act itself. Then later we continue with that. That means, in a way, the British themselves they taken care of this. So in the future they may not. Okay, if at all things, because the election has to be conducted, and these people they thought of giving voting rights. So keeping that mind and see that some sort of protection will be given for these people who are settling, completely settled in India and inducted into the culture. The 1935 Act itself contains this provision. And which article of the Indian Constitution giving this sort of nomination and protection for these Anglo Indians? Hmm? Because when the issue comes, then only you have to take care, otherwise not required. So 331 and 333, these two articles taking care. So 331 regarding Lok Sabha and 333 regarding state assemblies. So no Rajya Sabha, no legislative council, if at all representation for them. Only Lok Sabha and the things. Okay, 331, 333. Similarly, Anglo-Indian word you will find in the 10th schedule. What is the 10th schedule? Anti-defection. Sure. So 331, 333, 10th schedule. These are the things which you have to keep in mind. So Anglo-Indian generally will not belong to any political party. If they wish, they can. So within 6 months. After that, they are not supposed to. Okay. Once they become, all the rules applies as if he is a member of the particular political party. So he is not allowed to join after that. But anyhow, now that no Anglo-Indian is there, that issue is not at all there. But anyhow, still have to keep that mind vis-a-vis with 10th schedule is concerned. So they are the things dealing with. So whenever the issues are going on and the government is considering, keep in mind, right? Then another small thing it looks like, but I feel that in examination this may be a train services. Here the IRCTC will be India's first agency. Whenever you use the word first, you have to keep in mind that will connect the two countries. Of course, we have the already the thing is there, India and Nepal, and it's the Nepal already train route is existing, right? So Delhi and cover 8,000 kilometers to reach Nepal. Is it that much of distance? Delhi to Nepal? They will touch different states. So in a way, a Ramayana circuit, a touristic part, they will a package and they will go ahead with this. So Even it touched the Andhra Pradesh too. Okay, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh as well. Then let us get into a few important now. I2U2, the new organization. Okay, a different version, what we call Quad. You may use, some are using the word a new Quad. Okay, Quad, you are aware. Okay, quadrilateral security dialogue, which are the four countries. Okay, India, US is there in addition to Japan and Australia. Now this four grouping, instead of calling the Quad, as already think is there, the grouping of four, I2U2. So when you use the word I, no doubt the India, then Israel. Who is this Israel? Sure? Prime Minister or the President? Israel. Huh? Prime Minister only. Okay. Now they are the coalition of 8 parties. Okay. The issue is that. Then you, of course, United States and UAE, United Arab Emirates. Right. And this grouping's first summit is going to be held in the next month itself. Where? Who is hosting? America itself hosting the first summit. So as a very recent one, okay, you have to keep in mind. This so is another Quad, the new Quad, whatever be the terms in the course of time, it will be. Okay. The US only going to hold this. So once China opposed the very nature of the old Quad, if we called it right, America, what the name China has given to the Quad, previous Quad? Asian NATO. Recently, some competitive examinations is appearing, right? Wherever thingy, banking, SSC, the exams are going on. So it started appearing that one Asian NATO, which is this considering all the way. Then we feel that it's not security. As India, Japan have reservations. So another security grouping was initiated by America and Australia. What other country? AUKUS. Okay, AU, KUS. What the full form? A stands for Australia, UK, and United States. So that is completely a security group. Okay. So once you have, just keep those things in mind. Okay. Any doubt? Because let us not focus on this. Then you have part NIR, another new grouping. So NIR, new industrial revolution, part. Okay. So part NIR is nothing but the thing. So it's the BRICS partnership on new industrial revolution. You know pretty well the BRICS is a grouping of 5 countries. B stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, South, and they have the NDB, New Development Bank, and even these two together, part NIR and NDB, they wanted to transform as a new growth bank. Okay, because some They wanted to make it up so that the common should take. They'll focus on mechanization, water power, steam powers, followed by production, assembly line, electricity, then future automation, then cyber physical systems. A step-by-step approach they are planning to adopt, okay, in the process. So when we have the concept of the Panchashela, the five principles of peaceful coexistence, one of the principle is equity and mutual benefit. Okay, when you use the word equality and mutual benefit, equity means fairness. Okay, whatever be your exports, import related, well related, okay, trade policies related, they will be fair enough, and both the countries has to get benefit out of a mutual win-win scenario, not in favor of any one. And if one country is lagging, other country has to extend its helping hand. Okay, this sort of fraternal attitude is existing in European Union as well as in Asian. Even you have the word Asian way. Asian is stands for Association for Southeast Asian nations. How many countries? 10 countries. So when you say the Asian way is even the better than European Union. If some country is lagging behind, another country will come into this. Okay, helping each other. Even they have the like school child have the progress card. Okay, your monthly reports, okay, quarterly reports, annual reports, everything will be there. Okay, so meticulous planning they are having. So similar way, the BRICS way, they thought about it. So why don't we ourselves cooperate each other? Okay, not just in financial terms, not just in general policy terms. Let be in the what we call you have the vision. Let's have the mission. So now in the mission mode, because always together we grow. So with that intention, partnership are among this. So part and I are. So we have to wait and see how best they can do this one. Okay. Another grouping is on the corner, a possibility of 8. G8. Now, once upon a time you have G8, now again G7. So G7 became G8, again another G8 is coming. So that is different. What is G7? Group of 7 industrially developed capitalistic countries led by America. Russia is there for some time, but later Russia was expelled from G7. Why? When the Crimea was annexed by Russia, they are done. And now that Russia put a war on Ukraine, so sanctions are going on. But still, the few countries like in India, we are not outrightly opposing Russia. So overall, 8 countries either adopted a neutral stand or with Russia. So whoever extended solidarity with Russia or who are not against Russia, Russia thought of forming an informal group, not a formal group. Okay, an informal grouping. So that's we call as the G8. Why we call informal? From the Russian side, it's a grouping. But other countries is not that they come together, have the summit meetings like this. So right now, nothing like this. So we don't know the future. Informal may become the form. So these countries, apart from India, we have the China, India, of course, Russia is also a member, Indonesia, Brazil, Mexico, Iran, and Turkey. And together they account for 25% of the GDP. And in this contest, try to recollect the G7 and who are the G7 countries as well. So once in our group 1 examination, they asked which of the following countries is not a G7 country. So sometimes India they may give, sometimes Russia they may give, or some other countries. As we are not members, it is. So Japan, Germany, Britain, France, Italy, and so now we are coming. What is G20? Group of 20 is the combination of developed and developing countries. Okay. Is there any grouping exclusive for developing countries? G7 is developed. G20 we said combination. Is there any grouping that is for only for developing countries? G77. G77 is the group of developing countries. Okay. Of course, there are about 130 countries right now, but still they called it as a G77. Okay, it's a group of developing countries. Group of developed countries, developing countries, developed and developing countries, the combination. So all the three for exam purpose you have to keep in mind. Sometimes they use the word G4 countries. What are the G4 countries? In what context? Pardon? G4. Group only. G also stands for. So they are the four countries which are striving for reforms of UN, especially Security Council. They want to be the permanent members too of UN Security Council. Who are those aspirants? India, of course. Brazil, Germany, and Japan. Okay, South Africa is not there in this G4. Though South Africa is also later made it, but in the beginning G4 it is not there. So that also appears now and then in the examination. You will find that question. Okay, so G7, G77, G20, G4. They are the four groupings which appear in the examinations now and then. Then of course regarding BIMSTEC, as always, right, 25 years of celebrations, the origin. So naturally it got attention. So is the diamond jubilee, silver jubilee, or golden jubilee? Silver, the celebrations. 75 year celebrations is going on regarding what? Or independence? Right. So BIMSTEC stands for Bay of Bengal Initiative. B is Bay of Bengal. I initiative. M multi. Yes, sectoral, multi-sectoral, not one sector, too many sectors. So multi-sectoral. T for technical. E economic cooperation. Okay, Bay of Bengal Initiative for multi-sectoral technical economic cooperation is a grouping of how many countries? See here, even quickly you may count also. So Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India, Nepal, Bhutan, Thailand, and Myanmar. So how many? 7 countries. Huh? Which one is missing? So initially is B stands for Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Thailand. Then once Nepal and Bhutan became, then they extended the name grouping into renamed it as such. So when 25 years is a June 16, June 6th. Okay, as this month. So 1997, because name it up by Bangkok Declaration. This grouping was formed. So it's considered as the gateway between the South Asian and Southeast Asian nations. Okay. So Southeast Asia, just now we said Asian countries, Association for Southeast Asian, and South Asian is SAARC countries. Okay. So it's a gateway when the thing is concerned. Two countries of Asian present here. Myanmar is an Asian country. Thailand, an Asian country. So we considered this as a gateway. Number of competitive examinations you will find that question as well. Okay. Now that the SARC is not existing, is in a question mark idea, that is in a coma, okay, functionless. So India is encouraging the BIMSTEC. Okay. So all SARC countries are the members now except Pakistan and Afghanistan. Then one more country is not there. One more SARC country which is not a member of BIMSTEC, apart from Pakistan, Afghanistan. Indian Ocean country is one. What is that? Maldives. Okay. As Maldives in Indian Ocean, not the Bay of Bengal. As the initiative is for Bay of Bengal, they are not. So Maldives, now that SARC is functionless, Maldives insisting that you need to change the BIMSTEC name, or as the Bay of Bengal and the Indian Ocean merged, right? Finally, okay, the part and nearby only the Maldives, it should be included. So we have to wait and see what decision. But that is not there in this. And two countries of Asian, Myanmar and Thailand. So they are the few things which you have to keep in mind. As a 25 years, possibility is there. And another organization recently in the news is OIC. So the communal riots here and there taking place because one of the responsible MP irresponsibly stated the issues of aroused the sentiments, criticize the founder of the Islam, who? So when this undue comments arises, then the issue is there, and number of countries express their reservations, and OIC come up very strongly. Then India immediately responded, and being she is the spokesperson of BJP, she has done away with that post. Okay, so to some extent OIC satisfied the government efforts. So what is OIC? Organization for Islamic Countries or Cooperation? Cooperation. So way back founded 1969. So that considered itself as the head of entire Islamic world. Okay. So this BJP leader made the comments. Napur Sharma and of course Naveen Kumar, but mainly Napur Sharma is the thing is concerned. So this grouping, how many countries? 50. Is it Pakistan is a member? So regularly we'll heard every year, formally they will pass a resolution against India regarding Kashmir. Okay. Though we have a good relationship with the. Okay. So this is all the countries you will find. Okay. Another in the news, WTO, of course, for the World Trade Organization, formed to facilitate the free trade and services. In which year it was formed? WTO 1993. Before it's called GATT, General Agreement on Trade and Tariff, way back 1949. That is. So an agreement turned into institutions. Okay, is it India is a member? How many countries? 164 countries. So the quick recollection of those things is essential. So after a decade, because a lot of things are going on, trade agreements were signed recently. So last time in 2013, now after a decade, this was made. At the time, India demanded the peace clause. So that was agreed then. What is the peace clause? Vis-a-vis WTO is concerned. Because there is a stipulation, deadlines. If not adhered to, right, generally the penalty, punishment follows. So not to invoke that clause, penalty, punishments, give further time to member countries to adjust their policies. So we call that as the peace clause regarding WTO. What is the designation of the head of WTO is called? President or any other designation? Head of WTO. Director, General or President? Hmm? WTO head. Where is the headquarters of WTO? Geneva. Okay. Then, so here UNSC, the new members entered: Ecuador, Japan, Malta, Mozambique, and Switzerland. So UNSC is United Nations Security Council. How many countries in the UN Security Council? Totally 5, 10. 5 are permanent. These are non-permanent for a period, but it happen every year. Five countries they will elect. Okay. Now this year election is significant. India's term is going to be over by year ending. Now India is a member of UN Security Council. 21 and 22 is a member. January 1st they will assume office. So 21 December over 1 year. Now 22 December 2 years. So 21, 22 India is the member, and India term is going to be over. So it is getting replaced. How many times India get elected to UN Security Council as a non-permanent member so far? 8 times. Okay, 8 times it is elected. So generally, immediately second time they will not contest. So they wish to give a chance to other countries as well. So in the course of time, they may do so. Of course, now we are demanding that Security Council reforms, and India is one of the candidature for permanent membership with veto power or without veto power. Either, anyway, we are demanding this. What is veto power? Okay, an exercising of a negative voting. Okay, the power to say no. Okay, When somebody said exercise veto, that means they said no. No means so no democracy here. So unanimity is required. If any one of the five said no, and 14 countries said yes, the resolution will be passed or not passed? Not going to be passed. One Russian Russia exercise veto. There end the matter. Okay. And to exercise veto, you have to be there or not to be there. For example, China recently not present during that resolution. So can you consider China vetoed or not vetoed? Not vetoed. If you wanted to exercise, you have to be there and say no. Okay. If you are not present, that won't be considered as veto. That means absent will not considered as veto. Okay. You have to be there, and so the reason why veto was exercised by only one country, not by the two, though China was absent. Okay. Then again, UN General Assembly is used. India sponsored one resolution on multilingualism. So that was adopted by UN General Assembly. So in this, because the Hindi language has to be used in the UN, that is our concern, because most of the thing is concerned. So finally, yes, for the first time, the Hindi language is mentioned in the resolution. Before, it's nothing like this. Now, officially, you can speak Hindi. That will be translated to other languages if necessary. And previously, Indian resolution, of course, now this June, right? Within 2-3 days, you have the Yoga Day, for example, you are going to celebrate. Okay, when is the Yoga Day going to be? June 21st. So that is also India's initiative, okay, approved by UN General Assembly. So UN General Assembly is a legislative wing, okay, lawmaking body of the UN. Security Council, in a way, an executive wing. How many countries in UN General Assembly? Security Council 15, right? Permanent and non-permanent. General Assembly, all member countries of UN are members of UN General Assembly. How many countries? 193. Right. But each country can send 5 delegates. If any voting, only one vote will be there. Then one more thing, note is on SDGs. SDGs, Sustainable Developmental Goals. You have 17 Sustainable Developmental Goals. Period of Sustainable Development Goals is 2015 to 2030. And every time the ranking is given depending upon the performance. So India ranks. Okay, it has slipped for the third consecutive year, they are saying. So 11 of the 770s, you find it difficult. Okay. So regarding ending hunger, good health and well-being, and clean these issues, India is lagging behind. So in a recent report that is given. Overall, state-wise, Orissa has done good. Then Tirunanthapuram, Kochi, they are doing well. Okay. Anyhow, if this sort of things happen, just try to recollect this SDGs and few things is enough. Then coming to another topic and the penalty. Malaysia is going to abolish death penalty. Another word for death penalty they use is what? Capital punishment. So number of countries started abolishing in the demand in India also to abolish capital punishment. But right now they have not made any steps towards it. So it says it goes against the very right to life, and justice should be reformative, not retributive, not tit for tat attitude. So reformate, you have to do that. Now already life imprisonment is there. Life imprisonment implies how many? 20 years now. Once upon time 14 years, increase to 20. If necessary, you may increase that rather than do that or the way. So give him the chance for reform rather than putting an end. But anyhow, Article 21 clearly says no person shall be deprived of his life except according to the procedure established by law. Okay, no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. That means law can take away your life. You cannot take away your life. Okay, that means you cannot kill yourself. That is suicide. You cannot commit a suicide also. You have no right to commit a suicide. If you try to commit a suicide, again police will come and arrest you. Of course, if you commit suicide and died is a different question. But if by chance you survived, that is going against the law. But now the courts are looking from humanitarian perspective, because for some problem or the another they are committing suicide. So they are addressing in a different way. They are not treating as a criminal part is concerned. Okay. But on humanitarian try to counsel and try to do in that part. But still, as per Indian Penal Code, still that is a crime. There is another concept called euthanasia. What is that? Mercy killing. What is that? Mercy killing. దయతో చంపేయటం అంటాం. అయ్యో 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 అనుకుంటూ చంపేయటం. Mercy killing, because there are the few persons may be in coma for longer years or completely paralyzed. So if that be the case, why don't you put an end to their life? So once you stop the Medicare, okay, there every possibility they may die. Deliberately putting an end by the doctors, that is by not supplying them the required medicine, we call generally the euthanasia. Is it India permitted? It's there. Right now we call passive euthanasia, not active euthanasia. That is number of conditions applied. So passive euthanasia was permitted now. Previously it is not there. Just 2 years back onwards, passive euthanasia is existing in. So at that time, try to recollect those things. Then of course, of the Sustainable Development Index, you have the Global Environmental Index also. And the greatness is that 180 countries, India ranked 180. So the last, finally, it is regarding environmental issues. So perhaps that's a new. And okay, from the last to first. So you may say that still we are first. Okay, from last to first. So index is produced by US researchers at Yale and Columbia universities. And Denmark topped, followed by others. And few other, right? When you, the indexes recently talked about, generally appeared in the examinations is this World Press Freedom Index, ranked 150. Again, Norway here the top. Okay. So others, of course, depend upon the, every month one index has another come. This is enough for you. Then is Rahul Srivatsava, is become India's 74th Grandmaster. As those who are preparing for Telangana, yes, as is from the Telangana state, possibility of appearing here, the issues is the 74th Grandmaster. And who was the first Grand Master of India? Hope this name you remembered, Vishwanath Anand. So way back 1988 he became, now he is 74th. So, oh, one more is there, right? Of course, recently one more program or something, a concepts or a galleries, etc. once inaugurated. Once a different concept possibility of attracting examination, Kranti Gatha. So, is a newly created gallery for Indian revolutionaries. Okay. So, number of freedom fighters we have. Specifically for revolutionaries, it was done for this. Who are the Indian revolutionaries? Hmm? Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar Azad, Sukhdev. So even sometimes we use the word them, the non-violent terrorists also, or violent terrorists. Hmm. Violent, non-violent, or violent, violent. They are violent extremists. We use the word at that time, not the terrorists. Though the British they may use the word, but we use the word violent extremists. Right. So for them, a special gallery where in Mumbai. That is enough. Okay. So any doubts? Clarifications? No? Right. So much. Right.